Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Inquisitor, and today we're diving into something that, honestly, lives inside every human being. It can protect you, paralyze you, and sometimes even control your life. This is the psychology of fear. Fear is one of the oldest and most powerful emotions hardwired into our brains. It exists to protect us. When our ancestors lived in the wild, fear helped them stay alive, warning them of predators, natural disasters, or dangerous situations. Without fear, humans probably wouldn't have survived. But fear isn't just a reaction. It's a complex combination of biology, psychology, and experience. It all starts in the brain, specifically a small almond-shaped structure called the amygdala. Whenever we sense danger, whether it's a snake on the path or a creepy sound in the dark, the amygdala activates instantly. It doesn't wait for us to think about it. It sends a message to the rest of the brain and body, preparing us for one of three responses: fight, flight, or freeze. So your heart rate goes up, your breathing quickens, your muscles tighten, and your senses become more alert. Adrenaline and cortisol, your body's stress hormones, are released. In other words, your body gets supercharged for survival. But here's the catch. The amygdala reacts to perceived danger, not just real danger. That's why you might feel fear during a horror movie or before public speaking, even though you're in no physical danger at all. Fear is not just physical, it's also deeply psychological. Our brains can imagine threats and react to them just as strongly as if they were real. That's why we fear failure, rejection, embarrassment, or loneliness. These aren't physical dangers, but our brain treats them like life or death situations. So there are two main types of fear. Rational fear is based on real threats like, being on the edge of a cliff or seeing a tiger. Now, irrational fear, which is also called a phobia, happens when the fear is exaggerated or unrealistic, like being absolutely terrified of butterflies, buttons, or even the number 13. These kinds of fears often come from traumatic experiences, or sometimes just learned behavior. For instance, if your older sibling screamed every time they saw a spider, your brain might start to associate spiders with danger, even if you've never actually been bitten. And sometimes we end up fearing things simply because we've seen scary news, social media posts, or movies. This is actually known as social learning, where fear kind of spreads just through observation. Now, fear isn't always bad. In the right amount, it protects us. It keeps us from jumping off rooftops, driving too fast, or trusting shady strangers. But when fear becomes too intense or constant, it can become a problem. It can lead to anxiety, panic attacks, or avoidance behaviors. For example, someone might stop traveling altogether just because of a fear of flying, or never speak up in class due to fear of being judged. The good news: fear can be managed. One powerful method is called exposure therapy. This means gradually facing your fear in small steps until your brain learns that there's no real danger. It's how people overcome things like fear of heights, public speaking, or elevators. Another strategy is mindfulness, learning to observe your thoughts and body without reacting to them. When you recognize fear as just a feeling, not a fact, you gain power over it. To sum it up, fear is not your enemy. It's a survival tool built into your brain. But sometimes, that tool gets overused or misdirected. The real challenge is learning to understand your fear, face it, and eventually master it.